You want to know something? 2K actually doesn't want you to make a good build. It wants you to actually make a bad build, waste all your money, realize what you did wrong, and then spend even more money making new builds. It's why they make patches in the middle of the year that nerf really good things so that it makes your build kind of useless. These are the things that I think about when I'm making my builds every single year, and I'm trying to save you guys some money, so I made the ultimate build making guide for NBA 2K25. Yeah, boss out to the pack. It is pack here. If you like NBA 2K25 builds, news, and things like that, please join the channel and subscribe, and let's get into this video. Let's start with step one. What height should you pick? Listen to me, bro. It matters. You do not want to waste attribute possibilities, badge possibilities, because you picked the wrong height in your build. It's the first thing you choose. Don't mess up the height, bro. Before I start this, we need to clear some things up. One, this is dependent on playstyles, and not just playstyles, but game modes too. The height you're gonna need to be in the rec and the height you're gonna need to be in a twos game as a big is gonna be very, very, very different, okay? What I'm doing is trying to give you the clearest height that works for basically everything that the most comp players are using. And here's another thing. There's a couple heights that are good for one position. Point guard has like 4 heights that are really damn good, but only one can be the best. And I'm a firm believer that everything has a best. Also, this is very teammate dependent. If you make your players super short, it's gonna be very, very hard if you're playing with randoms. But if you have teammates that you know and you can communicate with and get certain builds to match your playstyle, it goes a lot better. This is by far the hardest one. There are 4 that are great. I'm just gonna name them off right now. 5'9", 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" are all insane. 6'4". 6'2" deserves a nod, but we're gonna go 6'4". If you look at the top 10 players, there's like 3 guys that are making 6'4" builds. Literally the best player in the world cash out in terms of rep is using a 6'4" with 99.3, 99 midi. He can dunk with his 60, 91 speed ball this, so he gets lightning launch on technically legend if you wanted to. Perimeter D and steal are high. The speed is at 97. Bro is cheating, and on top of that, he's not a liability against taller players. He can guard any guard while still being the offensive juggernaut that the 5'9" is. And that is why I lean more to 6'4s for the everyday player. You can kind of use this build however you want it. And even if you had to play as a secondary ball handler, you could still use this build. The 6'4s are crazy. There's a reason why the best player in the world is using it. And so at shooting guard, I'm kind of cheating. 6'4" again. I know that locks exist, okay? I know that they exist, and you want to be a taller lock, but shooting guard, the only reason you would really make a shooting guard is if you know for a fact you're running with 4 of the people in rec and you would make literally a shooting guard. I don't know why you would make anything besides a small forward or a point guard. So I'm just gonna say 6'4" again. If you're the secondary ball handler, you can kind of make this exact same build, but Namek12, who's the 4th best player in the world, also makes a 6'4", 99 3-point rating, still has a pretty good speed ball and ball handle. His steal's a 91, so you can kind of play as like a lock. 86 steal, 86 agility. You can dunk, you can slash with a 70 driving dunk, and honestly, you could change this up however you want. Maybe you want less ball handle and raise up the driving dunk rating. You could do that as a slasher if you wanted to. And this one to me is probably the hardest one, right? Because at least with point guard, you have a lot of great ones that you can pick from. My issue with the small forward position is you can be anything. Do you want to be a lock? Do you want to be an ISO scorer? Do you want to be a big? And if that's the case, I recommend 6'7". 6'7" gets a little bit of everything. What is it that you want to do? You can. It's almost like the everything height. I've seen some people be like, I just want to have great defense. Like imagine that. If you just wanted to be a pure defender, you could do some crazy stuff like this, right? Let's say you just wanted to have a high steal and maybe like a decent block with decent interior D. You can still have great speed. You can have 89 speed, 89 agility, decent strength, while still having a 79 3-point rating for your set shot specialist on silver. And even with a shorter wingspan, you can get your set shot specialist on gold with a good midi. You can still get an insane driving dunk. Your rebounding can be good if you need it to be good. It's like whatever it is that you want to do with this build, you have that freedom at 6'7". For the power forward position, this one's very hard because it's dependent on the player. What kind of a power forward are you going to be? Are you going to be a popper, a stretch? Do you want to be a slasher? Do you want to be just a defensive rebounder? Like, what do you want to be? If that's the question, the answer is 6'9". If you're going to be the big on your team, or at least some kind of big player, 6'9" can kind of cover everything. There are other heights, like 6'7" and 6'8" are broken, but 6'9" are really good. One of the better players in the world is Casey Trappin. You have 99 strength, you have 99 boards. Your defense is fantastic besides perimeter D, which you don't even need at the big. Your pass accuracy is 92. And if you wanted to have a better ball handle and even lightning launch, you could do that and flip it. You can shoot threes if you put your 3-point rating accurately. That is 70, I believe 78 overall 3-point rating if you wanted to, which you should. And you can dunk and finish under the basket. If you wanted to post up, you could. If you wanted to play defense, you could. If you wanted to ball handle, you kind of can. If you want to shoot threes, you can. Anything you want to do with a 6'9", you can. And as a power forward, most people who are power forwards want that versatility. Yeah, this is a pretty damn good height. Finally, the center build. This one's so tricky because, again, the big in a park or a twos game and the big in the rec are very different. You kind of need to be tall in order to get rebounds in the rec, right? There's a couple heights like 6'9" and 7'1" that I really like. 6'9" definitely for power forward more than anything, but I think the best for the center, if you're gonna be playing rec, is 7 foot. Fathom 2K, one of the better players in the world. Look at this, bro. 99 rebounding in total, 95 strength. The speed is whatever, but your interior D and block are decent. Your pass accuracy is insane. Your standing dunks 95. You get those contact posters. And again, if you wanted to shoot threes, you could make this build capable of hitting shots. If you wanted to be more of a slashing kind of center, you can do that with this build. The flexibility while still having that size is everything, because in the rec, you're gonna need to be tall and have a long wingspan to get boards over these players that have these 99 defensive rebound ratings. You don't want to be 6'9". Now we're on the step 2. We're gonna pick which attributes you need. For close shot, this is probably the most underrated attribute this year. A lot of people really like close shot because this year, especially if you're a big, under the basket, you're not always dunking it anymore. There's a lot of animations that are forcing you to do layups this year, and actually, they're really hard to block these shots. If you want to at least consistently make your under the basket layups, because I know you don't want to put a 99 close shot, you're going to want to put it at 84. Now, some of you are like, but what about my hook specialist? Hook shots suck this year. Like, they're really bad. So you don't have to worry about that at all. Even post scorers aren't really doing hook shots this year. They're more doing fades than anything. So an 84 close shot is perfect this year. You get Paint Prodigy on silver, you get Flow Game on silver. It's good enough. For a layup, 80. You do not need more than 80, but anything less than 80 and you might miss some easy layups this year. Again, are a lot of players going for layups instead of dunks? You need to be able to at least hit the contested layups. So you still get Float Game on silver, you still get Layup Mixmaster on bronze, but 80 is more than enough. You get the Trae Young floater animation. That's all you really need. For dunking, by far, 89 driving dunk. You get the 1 foot jump contact posters, which are critical in this game. You get posterizer on silver, which means you can get dunks pretty regularly. You get Aerial Wizard on Hall of Fame, which is a very good badge this year. So you get some of the best animations in the game. You can poster anybody with your silver posterizer and even put it on gold if you want to. It's the perfect amount. Now, some people like 87. There's nothing wrong with 87, but to get the off 1 foot, you have to do 89. And I think for just 2 more up, just to get that is worth it. So standing dunk, this is one of the only ones I'm kind of about. I know that most guards don't really need standing dunk unless very rare instances, but as a big, you need 90 standing dunk. You get Rise Up on gold, Aerial Wizard still on gold, and probably more importantly is you get the contact under the basket posters if you're a true big man that's playing like that. I'm not the biggest fan of having my standing dunk that high, but if you're a big that plays that way, I can see why 90 is good. Again, it's getting the contact posters under the basket that is critical. For post control, by far 87. 87. If you get 86, you lose post poet on gold. You want to have it on gold. If you are a player that is playing back to basket and doing drop steps, you need post control. You get post fade phenom, you get post up powerhouse, and you get post up poet, all on gold. If you're a player that is spamming under the basket moves, you're gonna need all these at least on gold. You get to have the cheese animations where you spin off the defenders and do drop steps. It gives you all the badges you need. Yes, you can get it higher, especially if you're a pure post up scorer. You're probably gonna want this even higher. But if you want to play that way, you need it at least at 87. It's the most worth it. Mid-range. Okay, the problem with mid-range is that it really depends. And I hate saying that for this video, but it does. If you know you're not gonna get a 3-point shot at all in this game, you need to have it at an 89 to get set shot specialist on gold. For your 3-pointer, I think it's pretty obvious, 89. 89 is like the sweet spot number. You get your limitless range on silver, which is a big deal. You get set shot specialist on gold again, which is necessary. Now, if you have a build that can't get 89 overall, or you know that that's not really your play style, you need to get 78 because 78 gives you silver set shot specialist and the pure green window 4 threes. So 78, but really, if you're gonna be shooting threes a lot, 89 for sure is what you really want. Free throw, bro, just put it at like 70. If you're not making every single free throw with a 70, it's a you problem of the game. So I have a personal different answer for pass accuracy, but the entire community agrees 71. It's just what everyone puts down. 71 gives you diamond on silver, and it's a fast enough animations to pass the ball. I personally always go with 75. I like to have the John Moran pass animations, and you get break starter on silver. So if you're a big, I think you really need it on 75. If you're someone that's not a big, 71 should be fine for you. Ball handle, okay, so really the only people that are gonna need this are point guards that are constantly dribbling the ball. And there's only 2 answers. I personally think with an 86 overall ball handle, you have everything you need. But I know that some of you like to dribble a lot. So 95 overall gives you ankle assassin on Hall of Fame, handles for days on Hall of Fame, unpluckable gold. You can get strong handle pretty high, and you get every single animation that you could possibly want in the game. So that's why I do think if you're a true ball handler, 95. I know it's really high, but it gives you all the best animations. I know I'm cheating here, but there's 2 answers for speed of ball. Some of you are not the point guard, but are secondary ball handlers. 75 speed of ball. If you're a big or a secondary ball handler, you get lightning launch on silver. You're gonna need that no matter the build. But if you are a true point guard, this is the answer for most people. You need it on 91 because you get Hall of Fame lightning launch. 100%. Get it on 91. You can get your lightning launch on legendary if you use your +1. I'm telling you, get your speed of ball at 91. For interior defense, this one's all over the place for most people's opinions, but I think 84 is a sweet spot. You get post moves lockdown on silver. You get paint patroller on Hall of Fame. This is really the only good interior defense badge in the game, and getting it on Hall of Fame is gonna really help you out. Yes, you would need a high block, but in terms of interior defense, even without a high block, you would have it on gold. For perimeter defense, absolutely 92. If you're gonna be a true lock in this game, 92 gives you gold everything, dude. Challenger gold, on ball menace, everything. Yes, you can get this lower and there's other options, but if you're talking about someone that needs to play perimeter defense, having anything other than 92, I feel like is a waste. Probably the most important attribute this year so far is steal, and obviously 97 even up to 99 is awesome, but if you don't want to spend so much on it, and honestly positioning matters a little bit more than the attribute number, you should be fine with an 85 steal. Glove does not matter as much as interceptor does, and with an 85 you get it on gold. So now with good positioning, good wingspan, and gold interceptor, and you can technically make it on Hall of Fame if you max it, yeah, steal 85 is perfect. For block, this might be a little controversial. I think interior D matters more than block. You're not going to get that many block animations this year. I think with block on 84, you at least get paint patroller on silver. You still get high flying denier on silver. You may not be getting, 8 blocks a game in a rec game, but you'll get blocks when needed, and that's all that really matters. I'd rather you use the attribute points on interior defense rather than block. 84 is just that sweet spot where at least it works. So offensive and defensive rebound are the exact same. 96 for both. If you are someone that needs to get rebounds for your team, okay, we're talking about the big on your team, you need to get it at 96. You get Hall of Fame everything, and the reason why it matters is because the person you're going to play against is also going to get it on 96. Defensive rebound, I think you probably agree with me. 96 overall defensive rebound, of course. Offensive rebound. There's guys out there that have 99 offensive rebound with max vertical, and dude, it is broken right now. And if you got a 96 offensive rebound that can horse people, man, it is so worth it this year. So make sure you have both of them really high. Speed. There's two answers because bigs and guards play differently. If you're a center, anything other than 70 speed, you're a little too slow in my personal opinion. If you are a guard, basically everyone agrees from 85 up to 89 are the sweet spots. No one really has 90 speed, and even if they do, the speed between 93 and 89 just isn't that different. I would recommend stick between 85 and 89 regardless of your build that isn't a big. With agility, I'm gonna say if you can, get 82 for basically everybody. Easier said than done for most builds, but 82 agility is at least you're as fast as everybody else on the defensive end. And if you're a lock, so I'm kind of cheating here because there's two answers. If you're a lock, you want it on 90 because you're gonna be getting steals, rebounds that you have no business getting, and even playing perfect defense. Agility at 90 is pretty damn good if you're a lock, but most people at least at 82. Strength for players that need strength. I mean, you could argue that almost all builds need it now that, you know, immovable forcer's pretty good and strong handle's pretty good. I think for essentially all build types, whether it be a big, whether it be a guard, 86 strength is pretty good. Box out beast is on gold, strong handles on Hall of Fame, brick walls on silver, immovable enforcers on gold, post move lockdowns on gold, post up powerhouses on gold. So either you're a guard, lock, big, 86 strength if you can get it, can help you in some way. And finally, in my opinion, one of the most underrated attributes this year is vertical. Dude, I'm telling you, in terms of rebounding, vertical is crazy this year. 85. I honestly think 85 is awesome because there's a lot of reasons. First, you can get posterized on Hall of Fame if you have a 96 dunk. You can get high flying denier on gold. You can get rise up on Hall of Fame. And more importantly, if you're a shorter player, you can get the absolute best dunk animations with 85 vertical. I think for everybody, I think for guards, you want an 85 vertical so you can dunk on people. You want, as a lock or a big, 85 vertical to get BS rebounds this year because you can just jump over anybody to get rebounds with an 85 vertical. I'd even say if you're like a real true center, if you can get it to a 90, you get some stupid stuff, but 85 is like the sweet spot this year. Vertical is very, very good this year. At step 3, we're now going to be choosing where to put your cap breakers. At number 10, I want you to view this almost as an honorable mention, and that is the steal rating. If you know anything about NBA 2K25, steals are ridiculous, or at least they were. Now that season 2 has dropped, they said that they nerfed steals, and even though they said that, I can't just take their word for it. So far, steals seem maybe a little less impactful, but still super broken. An interceptor is insane. The difference between 93 steal, which gives you gold interceptor, and 98 steal gives you legend interceptor for +5 is a massive difference, especially if you have a long wingspan and if you're a taller player. Bruh, you absolutely want interceptor. Now, glove has always been a controversial badge, have always been just okay, but interceptor, the difference between gold and legend is going to be massive. Hell, even if you can get interceptor from silver to gold with a +1, you should definitely do that. Again, they may have patched it and maybe it doesn't work as much, but as of late, steals are insane. At number 9 is speed and agility. So let's say you're in a situation where your cap breaker isn't giving you any major boosts and any badges. It's not giving you any animation requirement breaks. And you're like, I don't really know what to put my +5 or +1 in. I'm gonna give speed and agility at least a nod. There's a reason this is at number 9. Speed and agility in this game will always matter. Being fast in any video game is an advantage. Being able to catch up to an offensive player as fast as you can is awesome. As a rebounder, being as fast as possible helps you get more rebounds. As a ball handler, more speed boosts, more situations where you get open. If you can get positive speed, that's only a good thing. The issue with this is that it's not really going to give you any animation requirements. It's not really going to give you any badges, really. So that's why I have it all the way at number 9, because it's important, but maybe not as important as other stuff. At number 8, I've flip-flopped on this attribute all year. Perimeter defense. Some people think it is the best attribute. Some people think it's very useless. I have leaned more on the steals are more important and position is more important than perimeter defense. But there's no denying this. The difference between a 92 perimeter defense, which is all gold badges, to 97 perimeter defense is all Hall of Fame and even legend badges. I don't care what you think about perimeter defense, badges are always going to be a big deal. Getting everything from gold to Hall of Fame is going to matter. And even with 2+ more, if you're able to do that, you can get it to all legend. Regardless of what you think, that is amazing. At number 7, it's pass accuracy. You're gonna have to hold on for me for a sec. So the most popular rating for pass accuracy is 71 because people get diamond on silver. Other people have it at 75 for break starter on silver and the John Morant animations. Even some people have it at 78 to get versatile visionary on bronze. All this isn't really important to someone that has a +5 or even just a +1 on their pass accuracy. But if you can get your pass accuracy to an 85, you can get bailout on bronze. And the difference between having no bailout and bailout on bronze for competitive players is everything. If you can pass out of a shot, you have an advantage that nobody else in the game has. Every time you drive for a dunk, a defender is going to come and help. Open shot. Bailout is such a good badge. And if you can get it on silver, you're going to be even more broken than having it on bronze. I do think there's very, very few people that are going to be in the position to be able to get that, but it's good. At number 6, we have ball handle. At 93, you get gold everything. At 99, you get legend everything. You would also get legend strong handle. I just don't have high strength. So if you use all 6 of your cap breakers, you would get to a ball handle everything legend badge. And that's crazy. Even if you have a situation where you only have a 95 and you only get a +1 cap breaker, the difference between 95 and 96 is now you get unpluckable and Hall of Fame, and you get the Steve Francis animations that are broken this year. Ball handle has so many different ways it can give you advantages, from either unlocking animations or giving you crazy badges at the later stages. If you're a player that is constantly dribbling the ball, cap breaker on ball handle would never be a bad idea. At number 5, the most underrated attribute this year is strength. Look at all these badges. There's 7 badges that are connected to strength. 7. All these badges work for wings, centers, and point guards, okay? The difference between 81, which is mostly bronze and silver badges, to 86, which is almost exclusively gold and Hall of Fame badges, is crazy. For +5 on one attribute, you had 7 badges changing to gold. That's a joke. And all these badges are really good. Box out beast, physical finisher, strong handle, brick wall, immovable enforcer, post up powerhouse, post lockdown are all great badges this year. And you can get them all to an entire brand new badge tier for +5. And for whatever reason, if you have it on 92 and you did a +5, everything would turn into either legend or Hall of Fame. At number 4, we have Speed with Ball. This one has been one of the most popular cap breakers that people have been doing since the start of the game. The reason why is the difference between 90, which gives you lightning launch on gold, and 94 gives you legend lightning launch. So a +4 can get you from gold to legend. And I want you to understand something. Lightning launch, which is the speed boost badge, if you are a point guard, it is always going to be a requirement for players, because guys that dribble and are looking for speed boosts, that's like 90% of their game plan is doing that. You're gonna need this badge as high as possible. Only +4 to get an entire 2 tiers above is crazy for one of the most important badges. At number 3, we have driving dunk. Look at 92. So +4, 96, you get Hall of Fame posterizer. So silver to Hall of Fame just with +4. And if you find a way, let's say you have it really high at like 96 and you get a +3, boom, you get it on legend posterizer. But it's not just about the badges. To get the certain animation requirements are also massive. The difference between 87, which gives you certain contact dunks, you can get even better contact dunks at 89 with only a +2 increase. So just with +2, you can go from good animations to great animations. Or 87 gives you mediocre animations with a silver posterizer, or you can go to 93 with great animations and gold posterizer. The difference with a +6 is huge, and you would be dumb not to take advantage of this. A lot of builds are already good at shooting, dribbling, defense, but dunking is something that not a lot of players have on really high. You would have that advantage and dunk all over people, especially because interior defense is kind of bad this year. This is pretty good. And even one of the crazier ones, 95 gives it to you on gold to 99 on legend with +4. This next one is honestly very obvious, either defensive or offensive rebound. A lot of players have it at 94. That gives you Hall of Fame box out beast and gold rebound chaser. +5 gives you 99 and gives you legend for both. Listen, man, in this game, if you want to win, you need to be able to rebound. If you're not getting your rebounds, you're going to lose. It's simple as that. It is one of the most important attributes in the game, in my personal opinion. And the difference between gold and legend is huge. Get your rebound as high as possible if you ever can as a big. And finally, to the surprise of literally not a single one of you, 3-point rating. This is going to be the one that everybody's going to do their +5, +1, +1,000, whatever you want. 3-point shooting. Let's say you do +1 on 94. At 94, it's all gold badges, right? +1, you get Deadeye and Set Shot Specialist on Hall of Fame. Let's say you do +5 instead of +1, legend everything. So from 94, gold everything, 99, legend everything. And 3-point shooting is like the biggest thing you do in this game. Of course you want it as high as possible. Of course you want the best badges. And we already know from 2K Labs, the difference between gold and legend on essentially every single shooting badge is huge. If you can, which a lot of builds can't, but if you can, you're gonna use your +5 on shooting. At step 4, we're gonna be choosing which badges to max +1. There are 2 things you need to think about. 1, you want to get something that you think you're mid at and make yourself great at it, or you want to make something that you're already great at and make yourself unstoppable with. So what you're thinking about is really getting gold badges and legend badges. I'm going to give you basically a tier list of a couple badges. This tier list is going to have C, B, and A tier, and these are going to be how important I think you need to upgrade these badges across all builds, across all playstyles. So if I do not mention a badge, I think there is no point in upgrading it, okay? I want to start off with a controversial one, and that is lightning launch. There are some people saying that it does nothing, and then there's some people that saying it does a lot. According to 2K Labs, the difference between having it at nothing and having it at legend is a 20% speed increase in speed boost situations, okay? This game is about speed. You want to be faster than your opponent and get open shots, and this badge helps you get that, okay? If you can get this on Hall of Fame or Legend, I think increasing it is a big deal. Now, there's a couple badges that are obviously decent, and most of them you're going to notice on tier 2. For example, Dimer, absolutely, I think is a badge that helping your teammates out. If you can get it on tier 2, you should get it. The next one is Brick Wall. If you're a big, an obvious one to have. I think Gold and Legend are obviously the biggest changes you're going to see. Big bodies, you're going to be setting screens all the time. You kind of need to upgrade this badge at tier 2 if you can. Now we're at B tier. We're officially at a point in the video where I think if you can, do it, because these are huge differences. First up is Break Starter. I know that you don't want to spend an entire tier 1 badge on Break Starter, but the difference between silver and gold Break Starter are night and day. If you have silver Break Starter, you can get it to your teammate, but they catch it awkwardly. With gold, they catch it and they're able to shoot immediately. That's the difference. And in a rec setting, bro, you're gonna want this badge on gold. Another badge that's insane when you upgrade it is Paint Patroller, bro. Paint Patroller is like the only good interior defensive badge in this entire game. And if you're a big that needs to get stops, usually in the rec or even in park, getting this on gold or legend is going to save your life. Limitless range. In this game, limitless range on silver is really bad. You almost see no difference between bronze and silver in this game. But according to 2K Labs, getting it to gold, Hall of Fame, and legend all have major increases. And in this game, if you want to be great, you need to be able to shoot from deep. You can't even really shoot those shots unless you have it on gold. So if you can get it on gold, do it. And then the increase you get to legend is insane. So if you have the opportunity to make it legend, you need to do that. All of these badges I mentioned are absolutely critical if you want to be good in this game. Shifty Shooter first up. So if you can make this gold or legend, 2K Labs has shown that the biggest increase is in gold and legend this year for Shifty Shooter. This game is slow. Things take forever to start up. Your animations and timing are all over the place. And the one thing that can help you start dealing with that is Shifty Shooter, bro. One of the best badges in the game. Interceptor. In my opinion, Interceptor is the best badge in the game. I have seen significant increases between between from silver to gold to Hall of Fame, and Hall of Fame to legend. This is a badge that gives you free turnovers. Get this as high as possible. This one is super obvious, rebound chaser. One of the most important things to do in this game is get boards. And if you can't get boards, you're not good enough in this game. If you're a big, you need this badge as high as you possibly can get it at all times. The one that probably everyone is going to increase is set shot specialist. It's super easy to get. Almost every build can get this upgraded. If you get this on either gold or legend, you see insane increases. If there's one badge I'm like, dude, get this badge as high as possible, it is going to be set shot specialist. You know how bad shooting is this year. Get this badge. And now finally at step 5, here are some secret tips to help you make the perfect build. This is the basic stuff, but this is the #1 mistake I see every single one of you guys make when you guys send me builds and ask for advice. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say you're like, hey, I'm the point guard. I want to have a decent passing, so I'm going to make my passing a 70 overall. So it's not bad, it's not good, it's just decent. That's just not a good way of thinking about making builds. Instead of 70, if you got a 71, you would have got dimer on silver, right? So why wouldn't you at least get one more to get that dimer? Even if you have to sacrifice things, as long as you're hitting requirements, that's way more valuable than saying, oh, I just need a 70 because that's good enough. And I'll even double down, why get 71 when if you got 4 more, you could get not only break starter on silver, but more importantly, you could get the Ja Morant pass style, which is one of the better pass styles in the game. It's very fast, right? You guys need to start thinking in this way. I see a lot of people send me builds that have the attribute numbers that make 0 sense. If you knew about animation requirements and badge requirements, your guys' builds would always be a lot better. Think about your badges, think about the animations. These are the things that matter in this game more than anything. So it's very easy to say, well, I want to be able to shoot threes and I want to be fast and I want to be able to play defense. And on top of that, I need to be able to dribble at least decent enough and I need to be able to pass the ball decent enough. Now, a lot of players, when they're in a situation where they're already a 96 overall and they only have a couple more attribute points left, they start saying, oh, well, let me start increasing my ball handle more, right? And they throw away the attributes and now they're locked to get anything else. If a player knows he only needed an 86 ball handle, why are you forcing more if you know you're not going to use it? What you would rather do is use those extra points on things that you have nothing of. So let's say if you have a 25 standing dunk, get it to 45. It's very, very cheap. And if you're under the basket, you're guaranteed to dunk it even as a small guard. That is something that you don't have the option if you have it on 25. Might as well get it. It doesn't move your attribute points at all. It's basically free. Interior defense. You think, oh, I'm 6'3", I'll never have to play interior defense. That's not true. There's going to be moments in the game when you have to get a stop under the basket. Might as well put it up to 60. It's basically free. You can look at the attribute potentials not moving, because if you're a smaller player, things that centers have to worry about are cheaper for guards. Things that guards have to worry about are cheaper for centers. And let me even show you the craziest one, like the most underrated one. My mid-range is at an 89 and my 3-point shot's at a 99, and I have almost all my badges on legend. The thing is, mid-range is cheaper than the 3-point shot. So let's say we turn this down to 89, just like we did our midi, and then max out our midi to 99. We now have attribute points left over. We're an 89 overall instead of a 99 overall. So now I can put this maybe into my standing dunk to get it to a 45 like we were talking about earlier. Maybe I can give myself some interior defense that I didn't have before. Maybe I can give myself some strength that I didn't have before, and now I have better badges. And I still have all those badges that not only help me on my mid-range, they're also gonna apply to my 3-point shot as well. So you get the same value because of the badges while getting more attribute points because of the way you're saving with the midi. This is another one that I don't think it's talked about enough, is get good badges and turn them into tier 2 badges. So let's say you're a forward in the game and you want to make a 6'9" big. You should make a 6'10" big instead. Here's why. If you make him 6'10", you can now get shifty shooter as a tier 2 badge. That's why this matters, because as you guys know, you can get the badge +1s. So let's say I wanted to get my set shot specialist on legend. In a normal situation, shifty shooter would also be in tier 1. Now that I made my power forward taller, I can now get a +1 on my set shot specialist and also a +1 on my shifty shooter. So now I'm a big with set shot specialist on legend and shifty shooter on a Hall of Fame. That is something you have to keep in mind. Here is a list of some of the better badges that you can use at certain heights to tier 2. Keep these in mind when you're making your builds. And finally, this isn't going to apply to all of you, but most of you, consider your cap breakers. Now, realistically, most of you are only going to get a +4 cap breaker when you reach the requirement. And also, if you get level 40 in a season, you get an extra +1 cap breaker. Keep these in mind when you're making your builds. Let me show you a perfect example. So let's say I'm trying to make this build. I don't like how bad the defense is on this build. I guess I had the speed at 99, which is what I wanted, and I have a really good 3-point shot, which is what I wanted. But I hate that I have no finishing. I hate that my defense is very mediocre. That's just not cool to me. The thing is, you can make a build that's even better than this because of cap breakers. If you had +5, I can turn my speed down to 5 points. That's the difference between being a 98 overall and a 95 overall. Now I can use these points on my defense, and I can even increase the steal now. I can even increase my driving dunk to have it manageable. I can increase my vertical if I wanted to. I mean, anything I wanted to do, I had that freedom now that I've been given way more attribute points because of my cap breakers. Now, some of you are like, well, Pack, I don't have cap breakers yet. But the thing is, you have to plan ahead. I make builds assuming I'm going to get my +5 or +10 in time. So make a build where you're planning on using your cap breakers in the future, and you're going to have a broken build. That is my guide. It's a lot. I hope I helped you guys out. And if there's any major questions, I'll try to answer them in the comments. See you guys next time.